Doc has joined me today. We're here to talk about real estate, and like I always say, we're very excited for these webinars because it gives us an opportunity to communicate with you as our partners on things that we see, things that we hear in the industry. And as we were deciding what to talk about for the month of April, this one here just kind of hit us in the face in a good way, because we're hearing a lot about real estate. We're hearing more about real estate. So we're gonna talk about that today, and hopefully that as you walk away from this, realize that PaperCut is a great fit for the real estate industry. So buckle up. We're excited to be with you today. And again, Q&A section for all questions, chat box for the trivia question at the end, and just a reminder to register for Doc's webinars, and we'll cover more of that as we go through the presentation today. But let's talk about real estate. If I'm not mistaken, I would guess that probably every one of you on this call has several real estate offices in your territories. So let's do like we've done in the past here. Let's talk about real estate as a whole. Let's talk about the landscape and what this looks like for you as you're hopefully already thinking, you know what, I'm glad we're having this conversation. I do have real estate offices. Sometimes it might be a challenge to get in there. What can I talk about that will move the needle, if you will? Well, let's look at this. We're going to start from left to right. These numbers are insane. We've done this in previous webinars with other verticals such as education and healthcare. We want to paint that picture, if you will, talk about the landscape. But 2 million active real estate licenses in the U.S. Now, one thing about real estate is real estate hits a little bit close to home for me. Not only have I been in real estate in the past, but I have a family that owns a large real estate company. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit as we go, and some of the stuff that as I have visited with real estate customers or real estate firms, what's important to them and what they're looking for. Guys, there's a lot of real estate. There's a lot of realtors in this country. 268,000 brokers. And you know what? I'm going to take this moment to take it a little bit further. And what does a real estate office look like? So a principal broker of a real estate office, they're the owner. Every real estate office has a principal broker, so it's important to know that. And there's also what we call associate brokers. Those are brokers that aren't the owners, but they have the ability to sign contracts and buyer's agreements, reseller agreements, all of that stuff on behalf of the principal broker. But you're always going to have that. You're always going to have the principal broker, potentially associate brokers, and then those 2 million active real estate licensees in the U.S., their license is going to be hung up underneath those brokers' licenses. So if you've ever walked into a real estate office and you look on the wall and see 3, 4, 5, 25, 30 licenses hanging up, that is a rule and something that they have to do according to the Realtor Association. So it's very important that you know that, and what does that mean when you're talking to a principal broker or whomever. So what does it also do? It ensures that you're speaking to the right person. In case you don't know, realtors are independent contractors. They are 1099 employees. So what does that mean? Well, for that principal broker, this might be an important conversation for you to have, because there's ways that we can actually save them some money with their realtors, okay? We're going to talk about that more as we go. But 86,000 brokerage firms in the U.S. I've said this before on other webinars. This slide encompasses opportunity. That's what we're looking at here. But let's break this down. You'll remember we did this in our healthcare webinar. You might not. If not, it's on our website. You can go review it. But let's break down what different offices look like from a real estate perspective, and this could not be more true. It's either going to be one end of the spectrum or the other. So firms with one location, you're typically going to see 3 full-time real estate licenses. You're always going to see remote workers. I'm going to address that as we go throughout this webinar. So go ahead and get mobility and bring your own devices in your mind, because we are going to talk about it, because that's what hits home to realtors. Now, bullet point number 3, I'm going to hone on this for just a moment. And you know what, Doc, feel free to jump in as well if you would like to from a technical perspective, because I want to make sure that our partners understand on the phone when we're talking about real estate offices some of the challenges that you can get into. Some of you on the call might be looking at one another or thinking, I know exactly the road you're about to go down, and I know some of those challenges. Well, the third bullet point is smaller IT support staff. Let's just be honest. Sometimes the network can be a challenge from a real estate perspective. I don't mean to be negative here, but let's just lay it out there. These are conversations that you can have with them, and what we can equip you on our end from a support perspective, we can help get them to where they need to be from a network perspective. But we're going to address some of that as we go. And it's not going to be as big of an office. They're going to have fewer MFPs. But again, like I've said before in previous verticals, and I know everybody on this call knows how to do their job, you know how to go in and talk to people and make observations. But number one, who are you talking to? As we broke down the principal broker and the associate broker and the realtors. Are you talking to the gatekeeper, or are you talking to the principal broker knowing that he or she is the one that's going to make an impact on the decisions for their firm and what makes sense? Okay? Let's keep going. Firms with 4 or more offices, they can have up to 100 or more employees. Look at this. Remote and in-house staff with in-network and off-network devices. This is huge. This is huge. I'm going to go ahead and plug a conversation that I had with a family member that owns a real estate firm that I referenced just a few moments ago. This is exactly what they deal with on a day-in and day-out basis. So how do we walk in and be ready to have this conversation with that principal broker and be proactive versus waiting for them to tell us these things? So I can assure you that they're going a real estate office this size, they are going to have an administrative staff. They also might have what's called a buyer's agent staff. So what does that mean? A lot of brokers, they own their business and they don't want to spend their time going out and showing buyers homes. I used to be a buyer's agent. It can be exhausting showing someone a home because everybody has something in their mind that they want that doesn't exist, but yet they don't want to build the house, right? So that's the little situation that you run into. So they hire a team and pay them, they feed them leads, but they're typically inside, so they might be more located at the office versus a full-blown listing agent that might work out of their home. But this is what they're dealing with. They're dealing with remote, in-house, and folks working out of their homes. But you know what? The thing about a larger office is they very well could have a dedicated IT staff and outsourced services. I think that's going to be very common. So what does that mean? Well, the network might be a little bit more stable. Okay, we're going to keep talking about that as we go. And obviously, they're going to have more opportunity. Let's talk about this. One of the biggest challenges that real estate firms are facing in the next 2 years is keeping up with technology. I don't necessarily believe that this is the only piece of technology that can meet their needs. I know that you have probably a bag full of things that will work and meet needs in a real estate office. But from a print management perspective, from charging back for prints to realtors and copies, this is a big need that we can meet. Getting back to my personal story, and that's my brother actually that owns this real estate firm, I asked him, what would it mean to you if you could charge back your realtors for what they print or copy? His response, you can do that? Yes, we can do that. Oh, I think it would be great because they're just printing color. They don't care. There's no accountability. We're going to talk about those pain points in just a moment, and I might be getting ahead of myself, and that's okay. But it all ties in. So think about that. Think about the challenges as we go through this and what we've talked about. Look at this. Realtors emphasize tools that allow them to conduct business smoothly and conveniently wherever they need to. They also value tools that make them look technologically savvy to their clients. We're in 2018. These folks are not carrying flip phones anymore. They are carrying smartphones. They are conducting business on their phones. And in some situations, they are signing all of their contracts electronically and not even printing them off. So so just think about that. think about the industry and what's important to them and what they're looking for. They want to look like they know what in the world's going on from a technology perspective. So what do? Well, we address the pain points. I believe this can be a big help for you as you go out. And again, not that you need help selling, okay? Please don't misunderstand me. I think this can assist you, is what I should say, in having these conversations with your customers and what their pain points are and what they need. So let's dive in. First is accessibility. Now, pay very close attention here. This is a very important slide, okay? 95% of realtors communicate with clients using a mobile device. I'm going to say it again, even though I know all of you can read. 95% of realtors communicate with clients using a mobile device. That's a very important fact and number in this presentation. 50% of them use mobile devices to manage documents. Wow. So what does that tell you? Well, it tells you all of the information that I just showed you on the previous slides is very accurate, especially for your larger real estate offices. They need a way. They need accessibility to be able to have what we call a file print solution from their phone or from their laptop to their offices, whether it's in-network or off-network. This is the need that they have. And why is it the need? They're independent contractors, and a lot of times these offices don't have a network set up to where everybody's just automatically joined or what have you. They're buying their own laptops. There's challenges there from that network perspective. But with PaperCut, we can meet the need with PaperCut, or we're going to visit about another product here in just a moment that we've tied into this webinar as well. But I can assure you, mobility is extremely important. Look at this. Mobile printing encourages users to print more from their mobile devices, an option that was previously difficult to implement and support. Could not be more factual from that perspective. So with PaperCut, we bring that ability to do just that. They can print from their mobile devices, but let me throw out a stat that we released last year in our mobility printing webinar. 96% of mobility printing is from a laptop and not an actual phone or a tablet. So when you think of mobility print, I want you to think about laptops, bring your own device laptops as well, not just a phone or a tablet, because they need the ability to come in and easily print. And PaperCut opens up that door for them to be able to do that, and I'm going to address that a little bit more as we go through this webinar. But what about off-network mobility printing? Well, we have that as well. Some of you might not know we sell a product called Printer On. So what does that mean? Well, it means with PaperCut, you can see here, I'm not going to read every one of these different sections to you, but we can provide in-network tracking and reporting and chargeback ability, which I'll talk about more in just a moment with PaperCut. With Printer On, we can provide off-network mobility printing if they're at a house or whatever that might be, and they need to send a print job and have that job sitting in that queue waiting for them to get back to the office. So again, we've got them covered, as you can see here. But the last one, we can also have what's called integrated scanning and off-the-glass tracking and detailed reporting. Very important. So what am I telling you? For what you know about PaperCut and everything that it will do from a tracking and charging perspective, can be done from those mobile devices as well. We've got the complete and total package with PaperCut. Look here, 60% of real estate firms that encourage or provide their agents with a specific document management software. Okay, let's keep going. Let's talk about integrated scanning. I can assure you that scanning is extremely important in the real estate vertical. I know that because I just recently had a realtor tell me that. And I know that from my family connection with real estate. They do a lot of scanning. So what's the advantage? Well, what you're seeing here is with PaperCut, several of our brands that you all offer are compatible with integrated scanning. So what does that mean? Well, it just somewhat changes the look of the interface on the MFP. When you log in, you see several different options: secure print release, copy functions, or scanning. Well, when opening the scan action up, we're able to have a lot of options where they can scan that document to. Scanning is important because the agents will scan documents to their broker, to their email, for them to sign their contracts. So think about that. So what's PaperCut's part in scanning? Well, we're able to track that scan. They could even charge for that scan, which I doubt they would do. But this integrated scanning piece with the compatible models with PaperCut's embedded license just adds just almost the icing on the cake, and them being able to track and monitor for print, copy, scan, and fax activity. I mentioned this last month in our webinar series with education. Guest access is very, very easy with PaperCut, and it's also even easy for these real estate offices that might not have a directory system. We can set PaperCut up to where someone can basically create their own PaperCut account. We can already have it configured which devices they can print to. There's no need for setup on the back end necessarily. And they've joined the domain or they've joined the network. They have the devices available to them, and they can print and have it tracked or charged back to them. Secure print release. Security is obviously very important. We talk about this all the time. It's something that pretty much I would say most of our customers do implement with their customers, or most of you as our dealer partners will implement that with the customers. But security is important. I mean, you see it there. Public personal information. Any company is held to protecting personal information. It's not just for healthcare and HIPAA violations. It goes for schools, law offices, even real estate offices. You cannot have customers' information sitting around for someone to grab and run with it. So these numbers are pretty crazy when you look at revenue in the title insurance industry. But let's talk about cost savings and client billing. Again, let me rewind a few moments ago. My brother, real estate company owner, could not believe that we could do this. So immediately I had to give him a PaperCut sales pitch, but that's another story. He could not believe that this was a possibility. This might be what you lead with. Are you currently using anything to charge your realtors back for prints and or copies? Or maybe you just charge them for color printing or copying. Do you have anything like that in place? You don't. Is that something that you would be interested in? Have you thought about that? Because if you've been in these offices before, what they do is they have I'll give you an example. They have a closet set up with all of the office supplies, pens, pencils, notepads, whatever. They're responsible for paying for those. Those principal brokers are billing those agents back for the use of those products to conduct their job. Well, what if you could do this? What if you could offer this solution and allow them to charge their realtors? This is a big pain point and something that PaperCut can definitely meet. And accountability, there's print policies that we can put into play. Let's get that real estate agent to thinking. Do you need to print off all of the 10 houses that you're going to show your customer in color? They log into the multi-list system. They print off the picture of the house is in color. The blue hyperlinks are on there that are in color. Do they really need that in color? Maybe we could have a print policy that pops up that says, this document is in color, and you're going to be charged 50 cents per print job. Consider converting to black and white and be charged nothing. Think about if your brokers could implement a policy like that and get those guys to thinking before they print something. Might be beneficial for them. Where do we go? Where do we go from here? I think there's a lot of different roads we can go from here, a lot of information that we can talk about. We have the landscape. We know what it looks like. We know what's important to realtors and what their pain points are. I know it because I've had a conversation recently, and I'm sure you guys have too. But let us be on this journey with you. Maybe you haven't called on a lot of real estate offices. Maybe you haven't, maybe you have, and something didn't go well because of their network. Let us get involved with you. We get our technical solutions guys on there as well. If maybe their network isn't where it needs to be, we have those conversations. We consult with them and tell them what they need, because at the end of the day, not having PaperCut is less of a benefit to them. Okay? Having PaperCut is more of a benefit because of what we're offering. The mobility printing, on and off network, the ability to charge back. Very, very important. What about this? Well, for you as our dealer partner, if you do not have the NFR installed in your showroom, please let us know. Please let us know. We want to help you get that set up. Or, you also have access to the PaperCut Partner Portal. You can download it yourself. It's pretty easy to set up. But what about a trial? Think about that with your real estate offices. Keep that in your back pocket, by the way. We're never gonna pony up a trial to your customers and delay anything. But you know what? It might be a customer that needs a trial. They need one. They need a proof of concept. They need to better understand all this information that you're sharing with them. We can help do that. Next month's webinar, PaperCut 18.1. Yes, we just had 18.0 a couple of months ago that we released, and we are now at 18.1. Strongly encourage you to attend that. We've got some great releases that we're going to be talking about, so we're very excited.